Well, I thought I might just play a few little snippets, actually, just to get used to what to listen out for. So I brought my violin. It won't be very polished, by the way. The Concerto Grosso, this piece is in 4 movements. And the first thing that we play is a largo, which is just about 10 bars long. It goes like this. Almost it, really. Short, very beautiful. And then he decides to write a little fugue. And being a star, a superstar, he doesn't write a complex fugue where all the voices join together. He writes a fugue on one note, which goes like this. And then the other voices come in. It's pretty brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then the next movement is a very beautiful largo, which means slow. It goes something like this. Lovely, lovely harmonies. Now the surprise of this piece is that the last movement is a hornpipe, so not generally used in concerti grossi. And it goes like this. You can imagine the sailors doing a bit. Now I think that's the third piece we play. The first piece we're playing is by J.S. Bach, another the great composer of all time. And he wrote a set of 6 concerti called the Brandenburg Concertos. And he wrote them for the Margrave of Brandenburg, sort of show off his skills. And we're playing number 3, which is written for 3, 6, 9, 10 solo strings. And we have a harpsichord, of course, tonight for the Baroque stuff. And you must know this piece, and if you don't, it's just so joyful and full of energy as Baroque music is. And it goes... and so on. The slow movement is incredibly short. Bach just writes 2 chords like this. But we flesh it out a little bit with a bit of stuff. And then the last one is... You remember that one? Yeah, don't you?
Yes.
And everything, it hands over. And the marvellous thing about this concerto is that we're all spread out in a circle like Bach wanted. And the voices sort of go digga 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 right round and come back again stereo. It's a marvellous invention, and that's why I think people sometimes say Bach is one of the great composers, because he could do anything with music. He could fit it together in all kinds of ways, and yet produce beautiful, beautiful music and some wonderful melodies as well in his other pieces. I wouldn't say the Bach Brandenburg 3 is very melodic. It's not. It's sort of rhythmic and jaunty. And we're doing the wonderful Pachelbel by the canon by Pachelbel, which is obviously loved at weddings. And the canon, what a canon is when you get a bit like London's Burning. You get a voice doing something, then another voice comes in a bit later, and it makes it sound so simple and beautiful. So there are 3 voices in this, and it's just played by violins. Normally we have first and second violins, but on this occasion we've divided ourselves up into first, second and third violins. And there's no violas in this, and we've cut down the cellos as well for this, so it's very simple bass line. So we have the 3 voices of the violins, but the bass line is a separate voice, which is what we call a chaconne, because it's the same bass line. The bass line actually goes... and it starts all the way through. Then the first violins come in. And then the second one, I can't really play them like that. Then the next lot come in, and then we improvise a bit. The next bit goes, and then it gets faster and faster. We go, and that's handed all around, and it's an absolutely delightful piece. And then, well, that's not enough. We're playing a Mozart divertimento in D. Now, the divertimenti were played on light occasions. So you can imagine the word divertimento meant like a diversion, a divertissimo. And Mozart wrote loads of these. And he wrote this particular one when he was 16. Now Mozart, actually I was reading a bit about Mozart, and people think, oh, Mozart was such a genius, that music just came floating from his pen, kind of, as it were, from nowhere. But in fact he was worked so hard by his father, Leopold Mozart, who was a great musician himself, wrote a fine book about violin playing actually. And so Mozart had learned the piano at the age of 3 and had music thrust on him, and he had to learn to play the violin. From the age of 6 to 10 he was touring all around Europe. He met Louis XV in Versailles, played for him, played for everyone. And when he wasn't actually performing and practicing in the coaches, he was writing down pieces from memory. And you know, a poor kid didn't really have a childhood, I suppose, but he wrote this piece a bit later on when he was 16, which is, you know, life got a bit tough when he became a teenager, I think. He came back from touring, he'd been, you know, celebrated everywhere, and he had to go back to working for, I think, the Archbishop of Salzburg, who didn't get on with. So I don't know if you saw Amadeus. He really didn't get on with this Archbishop, actually. And things were not going too well when he left. And when he came back, he had to go back into service again because he wasn't the young little prodigy anymore. And it's true that he didn't get on so well. And when he asked to leave, he was booted out by the Archchamberlain's, by the Archbishop's Chamberlain. He was actually booted out. However, he wrote this lovely, entertaining piece. It's like a little symphony in D major. And the first one goes, the cellos go, the first violins go, and we hand over things like all-round instruments, and it's gorgeous. The second movement is like a sort of very gracious andante. It goes like this. Very courtly, as you can hear. So it's the music of the classical era. They say Baroque music sort of fizzled out about 1750 with the death of Bach, 1759 with the death of Handel. This is really classical style. It's got a lot of that kind of, the ends of phrases have those sort of shapes and gestures. And the last one is a bit of a joke, really. He starts like this. And it all starts like the beginning, the end. And then just full of these little musical jokes, and he plays around with silences like that, like. And silence is also part of the joke. So only 3 short movements, and I say very sunny, cheerful work. And then we have the interval, where we have a cup of tea, maybe have a cup of tea, or a glass of wine. We've already had one actually. Have another one.